Hello and welcome. In this video we are going to take a look at how to zip and unzip files using Windows 10. So the first thing we want is some files to zip. Well, let's go ahead and create some. So I'm going to load up Paint and I am going to create very quickly 3 images. One red, let's go save as BMP. I'm just going to call this one.bmp. Then we'll go for, let's say, yellow, file, save as BMP, and no surprises for guessing, we're going to call this 2, and then we'll make this green, file, save as BMP, and we're going to call this 3. So let's close this down and take a quick look at the file sizes. So it's worth noting, if you don't already know, if you add files to a zip, that will also compress them. And it's probably also worth noting that some files will compress better than others. So you'll see more of a reduction for some files and less of a reduction in file size for some other files. So I'll give you a quick example. A BMP file is not already compressed. But if we were dealing with, for example, JPEGs, so JPEG files, they are already a compressed file format. Okay, so you would expect to see less compression with those files. So if we take a very quick look at these 3 files, let's see how large those files are. Click on Properties. We can see that these files are currently taking up 5.88 megabytes on disk. So let's highlight those files, right click, send to compressed zipped folder. And as you can see, Windows has kindly created us a zip file. Now, Windows wants to call it 3, which isn't the best of names, so let's call it my zip. Done. So if we right click on this zip file, we can see now that actually the file size is only 12 kilobytes. Now that is a ridiculous reduction in file size there. It's worth noting, if I can remember correctly, I think that there is 1024 kilobytes to 1 megabyte. So that puts it into perspective. And if there's not 1024 kilobytes to a megabyte, it'll be 1000. It's just that I can't remember off the top of my head. But it is a huge reduction in size there. So let's cancel that. Let's go ahead and delete the original files just to show you. So select them, right click and delete. We're going to empty the recycle bin. But of course we still have those files, or we have copies of those files in the zip file. So for example, if I open the zip, I can actually open these files. Yeah, the files are in the zip file, or copies of the files. We've still got the files there, they're compressed. If we select all of them, we can drag and drop them and we can uncompress them. So we have now the versions within the zip file, and we have the versions on the disk again, and these are uncompressed. So if we select those and see what size they are, they're 5.88 megabytes as we would expect. So let's go ahead and delete these because we no longer need them. Empty the recycle bin. Now obviously, you know, as you can see, not only have we actually reduced the file size on disk, which will be good, because obviously if you want to increase, you know, the amount of space you have on your disk, you can do that by zipping up some old files that you don't need to access too often. But likewise, as you can see, you can still open those files. It's worth noting that it will take a little bit longer to open these files if they are compressed, because Windows has to uncompress them first. But as you can see, for these small files, and they are small files, it's still pretty quick anyway. And likewise, if you wanted to email a bunch of files to somebody, it's often better etiquette to go ahead and zip those files up, because it just is kind of like a easier way to send one file rather than say 10 or 20 or 30, for example. Windows zipped files don't allow you to encrypt them or add a password, which is a shame. However, you can use another tool to do that, and the process will be almost identical. The only difference is you'll have to use a different tool. So if you type in 7-zip, this one here, click on the top link, and it's 7-zip is a file archiver with a high compression ratio. That's very true. So actually what you'll find is that 7-zip will often do a better job at zipping up your files than Windows. Also, 7-zip has the added benefit that you will be able to password protect your archives, your zipped files, your zip file, and you'll also be able to encrypt it if you choose to do so. So I will put a link to 7-zip in the description, and I will probably follow this video up with a quick demonstration of 7-zip. I just wanted to give you an idea that there was a slightly better alternative. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and if you'd like to see similar content in the future, perhaps consider subscribing. And until next time, take care.